Will Jock, Levon coming at you. Playoff preview. Some say the most exciting times in the All Madden League. Would you agree with that?
I feel like I say that every single pod, don't I? Every single one. I haven't missed a single one. I don't think
What? You haven't missed a single what?
single pod where I haven't said, "Hey, playoffs are the most exciting time." Check the
I
tape.
know.
I want
It's the
somebody
new
to check the tape.
it's the new ankle weights. It's just the thing that we say that we got to get it in every single time, every single pod. It's the best time of the All Madden year.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, man, and then playoffs are shaping up. We just watched Packers beat out the Giants out of the playoffs. So congrats, Dallin and Commanders. You are in as a 4 seed. As a division winner for the NFC East. Other than that, I think we're all locked in, right? Seeding's done. All the playoff teams in out. It's all done. It's all complete. Correct
I
me.
think quick correction on that. I'm gonna have to fact check you. I think the one thing that could still happen, and
Mm.
I don't know if RK and Castro have been able to schedule their game, Broncos versus Browns. But I think if the Browns win that game, if they can pull off the upset against the team that they gave up 100 points to, they would jump up into the 3 spot, or they would stay in the 3 spot, and Texans would be 4.
Right.
So that's the only thing we're worried about. I don't even know if Castro's going to be playing that game. I think RK was talking about it being a CPU game.
Mm. I mean, I'm matching up the Browns, and it looks like as of right now in the first round. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go with the thought for this that
Broncos won.
Broncos are going to win that game. Yeah.
I think that's a fair assumption. I wouldn't judge you for that.
We got Brina in the chat. Chargers going 10-7 with a third of the season being simmed. Moral victory? Question mark. Yeah.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
I feel like you got your guard up to moral victories because with the
I
Nuggets
do,
and
I do, man. We finally got one last night though, so um, no, yeah, I'm sensitive about Nuggets, so let's not talk about them. Okay, so lay it out, bro. What are we talking about today?
what are we talking about? We are talking. So we always do. I feel like we always do our playoff power rankings draft before the playoffs start. But we've been so dialed in with the tiers and doing tiers all season that I feel like it would kind of be stale if we just did another version of power rankings. So what we're doing is we took an idea from one of my favorite podcasts, the Bill Simmons podcast. So every Sunday they guess the lines for each NFL game, and then whoever's closest wins that game. And so what me and Levon did, we did a little pre-pod prep, and we came up with our own lines for every single playoff matchup. We're going to go through those. I don't know Levon's. Levon doesn't know mine. Basically, we're going to have each of our lines, and we're betting $10 on every single game. So whoever is closer, or say I had the Broncos beating the Jets by 10 and they end up winning by 24 and Levon had the Broncos winning by 7, that would be me. But if the Jets won that game, Levon would get that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we guessed the line. So we're going to go through each one of those. We'll do a little breakdown, a little preview for each of those games. I see Down in the chat. It's good to see Down. Congrats. We just did a little applause. Give him another one.
Time for you. Yep.
And Brina asks, "Is bullying allowed in this chat?" We were censored earlier, so it's funny. I had the good fortune of watching the DMVR pod live today, and I was very active in the chat, commenting a lot. And I get the text from RK mid pod saying, "Please stop bullying our fans." And I swear I wasn't bullying at all. All I was trying to do was ask the chat if they would be down to take a 1-year prove it deal with Albert Hainsworth, beef up our interior D line, just silly messages like that. But he was I could tell he was distracted, so I stopped.
Makes sense. Damn, it is crazy. You got a direct message straight
I
to
know.
the
I know. Yeah, I did get reprimanded. All right, so dude, the echo is back. I'm telling you. Let us know in the chat, guys, if you can hear an echo. Hold on.
Now I can. Now I can definitely hear the your mic's facing the wrong way.
Really? You can't hear
Yeah,
me? No.
I can hear you, but I can hear like from the other side of the room.
How about now?
Yeah, now it sounds good.
All right. It just distracts me when I hear my voice, at the
I
end of my
understand that.
sentence.
It would 100% distract me.
All right, let's get into these games. These boys are sick of listening to us ramble. So you want to start with the AFC or NFC?
I'd like to save the funner one of these matchups for the last. Now the question is, which one's more fun for you?
Um, I think the AFC is fun just because that's my conference, and we were looking at it before we started. We were counting the wins between the AFC playoff teams and the NFC playoff teams because it's always hotly debated which
Mm-hmm.
is the better conference, and we got the numbers right here.
Let them know.
All right, so AFC playoff teams accounted for 87 wins going into the
7 teams for 87, so
playoffs.
11 wins. On average, 11 wins per team. Is that a good
12.
12 wins? I'm sorry, yeah, 12 wins per team, and the
And
NFC
then
side.
NFC was 76. So a difference of 11 games there. Basically a whole playoff team of difference.
Yeah, do the math again. Don't Please don't make me.
No, we can only do
Um,
math one time.
but yeah, 87 to 76 is. I mean, like you said, man, it's whole another playoff team worth of wins, which is kind of funny. But we'll see how it shapes up. Get to come Super Bowl. I mean, AFC is losing 1-2 right now to NFC in Super Bowl runs. Jason back to back, just running the tables in the league as a as of currently. Who will not be participating in this playoffs? We should say this.
That is correct.
So
Yeah, so
I don't know
somebody's going to get a second round bye.
exactly. Yeah, second round bye, and whole NFC's open, and there's a couple of teams obviously that have a good shot. You have Panthers in there. You have Lions with number one offense in the league. You have the Bears. Hopefully, they can repeat their first season success. I mean, even the Cardinals and the Commanders now the wild card, right? I'll be honest. I haven't watched Commanders tape all year. I don't even know what to think of them. Um, and then obviously the Packers, just another big win, bounced the Giants out of the playoffs altogether. So wide open, wide open. NFC's wide open. AFC, I think. You got your top dogs and you got your underdogs, kind of like cut out. But NFC, it's a little more spread out evenly, which I
So
like.
let's start there then. Let's start with the NFC because we already got the NFC teams in our mind. We got Dallin in the chat; he's looking good.
Yeah.
Let's. Can you give me the 1 through 7 teams, and we could just shout them out and all the 7 teams that made it. You know it.
Yes, I do. So number one, seed goes to Falcons, which is kind of cool because since they're not gonna play, nobody really gets that first round bye except whoever plays them next. Which either it's either gonna be the Packers, Panthers, or the Lions, right? Not necessarily, but most likely.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy because the lowest seed remaining will get rewarded with the second round
Right.
bye, which is very
Yeah.
interesting.
Unless all the high seeds win, then you will be like Dallin,
Mhm.
getting second round bye. But regardless, it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. I think that was when did you guys decide this is a commish group to kind of like sim loss Falcons game.
I think that was about a week ago. There was some talk about letting Riley take over for the Falcons or have it be a CPU
Mhm.
game, but I think having a CPU wreak havoc in the playoffs would not be great. And I think
No.
Arcade did some research on this, and the CPU does go up a level in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, fuck that. I wouldn't want to face the CPU on steroids in the playoffs. Yeah, away on the road.
I know. Imagine like you're a team that you just made the playoffs for like the first time in like your whatever, however many seasons of Madden, and you draw the CPU. That would suck.
Yeah, that would suck. Who was how did you personally feel about the Riley idea?
Um, I don't know. I didn't dislike it. I was for it at first because I was like, fuck it. Like, somebody shouldn't just get a free buy. But then I was also like,
What
what
if
if
Riley
Riley runs the
runs it?
table? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be it'd be awkward for sure. Um, who claims that trophy? Is it Riley? Is it Jason? Does Riley just fall in love with the game again? Just does not want to do this time. Just boots Jason out of the way. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think you guys came down to a right conclusion and the most fair one, and obviously not the perfect circumstances, but at the end of the day, we just make the best we can. So, um, okay, so number one seed you have the Falcons. Number two you have the Bears. Number three you have the Cardinals. Number four you have the Giants. Six,
Commanders.
I'm sorry, yes, Commanders. Number six is the Panthers. Number five Lions. Number six Panthers. Number seven the Green Bay Packers. That's one through seven. So you have divisional matchup against Bears and Packers. Uh, Newcomer JCJ going up against Stevie, and then Dallin, as of recently, is gonna be playing against the Lions. So let's start off with the first one: Packers Bears.
Packers, Bears. Okay.
All right.
So for this one, do you want to go
Mhm.
first on this one?
My so yeah, I'll go first one. That's fine. My line is 9.5 Bears.
9.5 for the Bears. All right. Talk me through how you came to that number.
So I pretty much went through and kind of like looked at the scores, the teams they played, and averaged out some of the scores. What it came down to is a couple of things. Home field advantage for me for all of these playoff matchups. I gave 2.5 points for the home field. It's not as big of a factor as it is in real life, but for some of these teams, probably is a bigger factor than not. So Bears have Bears averaging 31 points a game. Packers are averaging 24-point game. That's about 6 point differential between the two. And again, I added 2.5 or 7 point differential between the two, and I added 2.5 points to the home team, which would be the Bears, and gave them a 9.5. So
Okay.
to be clear, that means I think the Bears will um, win with win with 10 or more points, right?
Hmm.
Is that how that works?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what you got?
So I had Bears by 7,
Okay.
and this was one of the harder ones to pick because they split their games this year.
Hmm.
The Packers have showed us such highs and such lows, right? I talked about it last week. We needed to drink some settle down juice with the Packers, but I
Hmm.
was really impressed with what they did today, and beating up on Einhorn, who had everything to play for. Trying to get into the playoffs, and the Packers were really locked into the 7th seed. Winning 31-7, really on the heels of that elite defense, was very impressive to me. So I feel good knowing that. I still think the Bears are going to win, but I feel good knowing that I have Bears in a close game, and then if any Packers upset happens, I'll get you on that game. I feel good about it.
So I do have a question. Panthers and Packers are both 11-6. Does that affect seeding at all? Have we checked on that?
It does not because the Panthers beat Packers head to head.
Okay, cool, perfect. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, so you have them at 7, the
Yes, sir.
Bears, right?
Hmm.
Bears by 7. Cool. All right, I like that. So let's move on to the next one. Would be Cardinals and Panthers. This is such a weird one to pick, right? For a couple of reasons. First of all, Chase J is still relatively new in the league, so we haven't seen too much tape on him. Second, these guys played head to head, and Panthers did not have a great game in that matchup. They got blown out. Um, but also since then, Panthers came up, won a lot of games down the stretch. Uh, Cardinals, vice versa. They lost a bunch of games to finish out the season. So I have, and by again by the scoring, I only counted Chasey J's games that he actually played for overall points. Cardinals are averaging about 33 points a game, and the Panthers are averaging about 32 points a game.
Oh,
So it's a very close. This is the closest line I have out of all the playoffs, right? So I have the Cardinals winning by 3.5.
damn. I have
Yeah.
the Cardinals by 3.
Oh, okay. So this is a close one.
Yeah.
So again, the reason for this exact, I mean, this line should be really 1 point line for me when I'm looking at it. But again, I give 2.5 point deficit to the home team. So you know, looks like for both of us going in, Stevie's the underdog, and I, that's a team I'd like to root for. So it's gonna be even bittersweet. Not bitter, really. Even it's gonna be more sweet if we get that victory over the Cardinals.
Well, it's interesting because you'd think. I mean, when they played earlier this season, it was in Arizona.
Mhm.
It's going to be in Arizona again.
Yeah.
Um, it was a 20-point win for the Cardinals.
Hmm.
But I feel like the Cardinals, they kind of came into the league. They were like a rookie pitcher, right? They had
Yeah.
nobody had seen him. He was striking everybody out, and then people started to figure him out a little bit. Um, but also, we talk about the bright lights of the playoffs in the All Madden League and how hands start to get a little sweaty late in games. I don't
Yeah.
know if JCJ is gonna. I feel like he might be just. He won't even think about it because he's new. Like
Right.
he this is his first season. He's already in the playoffs. It's not like he worked to get here for multiple seasons. I think the pressure will just kind of like fall right off JCJ, and I think it's gonna be a
Unless
really interesting game.
unless he listens to this, then we're putting a lot of pressure on him, which he probably will listen to. But and then I'm glad you mentioned that because on the other side, I feel like Stevie has all the pressure on him, right?
Hmm.
I mean, he's been a playoff team for every single season so far, and he hasn't been able to um, come up with a win in a playoff so far. Um, Again, he draws a tough matchup, and for several reasons, like you mentioned, because there's not much book still out on him, head to head loss against him, and a couple of monkeys on his back. So it's gonna be interesting. I think that's majorly why I put him as an underdog in that game. But I like that we're both kind of close on this one.
Yeah, dude. Stevie's got to be feeling the pressure, especially when he's looking over at his division rival, the Falcons, two-time champ, and they're not going to be there. It's like, if not now, when?
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on to the next one. We have the Commanders versus the Lions. All right, and then I'll go first. So the Lions, and let me. Oh, I guess Broncos isn't playing because I can't really check on this. But as of right now, the favorite to win the MVP, Jaron Hall, leading the league's most efficient and the best overall offense in the league. Um, not as many wins as the other candidates in there. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, both with 14, 15 wins. Lions are 11, 5, and 1. But they have been the highest scoring offense in the league. Commanders, not so much. Commanders averaging about 26 points in a game. So they are, oh my God, what kind of math is this? 13, 13-point underdogs, really, about. So, and then, 2.5 point, I make a swing. So in this game, I have Lions is a 10.5 favorites, and the Commanders 10.5 dogs at home.
Damn.
How do you feel?
I feel worse about my pick now that you said that all. And now that Dallin is in the chat saying Lions minus 17. I did see that the Lions did blow out the Commanders in week 1.
Yeah. Well, week one was a long time ago.
It was.
Yeah, Commanders have put a lot of wins back to together at the end of the season. There, a couple upsets, I believe. Um, so I mean, the lines, the line is where it is for me, um, for a reason, because the Lions have been so good. this season, and I faced them myself personally, and I saw that offense is just big play after big play after big play. It's very hard to contain. So
Yeah, and the Commanders might just be the "we're happy to be here" team. The team that had to fight and do everything to just get in the playoffs, and now that they're there, it's like, all right, this is just icing on the cake, and the Lions might take care of business. So I had the Lions favored by 7 on the road.
okay,
But I wanted to hearing you say all that and Dallin's comment. I wanted to change my pick, but I obviously can't do that after you pick.
okay. So you're leaving at 7.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't change mine after you say yours. That'd be fucked up.
Right. All right. Hey. So far you have been under on all mine.
I'm rooting for close games then.
Yeah. You think it's gonna be a lot more close games than I think. All right. So that wraps up NFC side of the things. So you have the funny thing is we both have the same teams winning. So you have the Bears, you have the Cardinals, and you have the Lions winning, and so do I.
I wonder if that'll continue in the AFC. I think it will.
Ooh, yeah, for sure. I think so too.
But I just think like the Cardinals and the Panthers, there's not much difference there.
Mm-mm.
And then the Commanders, I think Dallin is a good enough defensive user. And Packers, they've shown that they're a great defensive team. I think they might stay close, all three of those games.
Yeah. Packers are a big boom and bust, right? The defense can really go off and give O'Connell serious problems, but at the same time, they also DTR is not really the most reliable guy on your roster. And let me check his stats out. He's like 21 touchdowns on a year, I think. Maybe he threw a couple in this game that I haven't checked, but 19 interceptions. You know, not even 3,000 yards passing. So a lot of it's on a ground, depend on a ground game. And Adam is totally opposite. It's really hard to play against his type of players who are just like scoring, like doesn't run the ball, always passing, fast pace, doesn't really play at your pace. So, all right. Well, we talked about the game enough. So, but you're right. Yeah, a lot of these games could be very, very close.
I'm just looking one thing. Never mind. I was looking at Nick Bosa's abilities. I was wondering if he had that pass committed ability because I know that would come in very much handy against the Bears who pass it every down, but he does not have it.
Yeah. All right. So I got our picks set for NFC. Let's switch over to the AFC. Starting off with the very intriguing one, Broncos Jets, or Jets at Broncos, I should say. And I'm gonna let you go first for the AFC side.
I was looking at this one and I've kind of been saying this to you for like a week now. I think if there's anybody that can kind of get weird and give Broncos a
Mhm.
game, it might be the Jets.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going as far as to pick them, but I'm going to try to box you out a little bit with my pick here. So
Okay.
I went with the Broncos minus 9.5 against the Jets because I think you're going to go double digits. I want all chance for Jets upset here.
Wow. So I'm sorry. Repeat what was your line again? Broncos by 9.5.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And also, I talked about it last season and now we're here. Joke, right? You were so upset that you've been one and done in every playoffs. And it's not
And
going to be easy no matter how you
no,
slice
yeah,
it.
this is probably the hardest matchup he's had so far.
Yeah, for
Um.
sure.
Okay. So you have them 9.5. Let's cover. So they're both very good offenses. Broncos obviously have been really really hard to contain, but they did slow down at the end of the season. Now obviously they still won all the games, but they were not putting those astronomical numbers on the scoreboard. So Broncos are averaging about 36 points a game. Jets are averaging about 32. Uh, so there's about 4 point difference between the two. Again, home team, I give 2.5 points. So I have the Broncos by 6.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I do think, like I said, I mean, again, I just played the Jets too. And there's that there could be problems on that. All offense. You got, you know, Lackey, the tight end, he made huge plays
He's
over
good.
and over again. In tight coverage, double coverage, you're just getting up again and plucking the ball out of the air. James Cook, Dalvin Cook 2.0, he's a beast in the inside zone run. And then Travis Lawrence just slinging around. So now, what really could go wrong for the Broncos is Micah Parsons could blow up that whole game. That's why I think it's going to be a little closer. I think the fact that Broncos have been averaging less than 30 within last with the end of the season, and Micah Parsons on the side of the ball, and who's his other pass rusher? He has another X factor on the lined up on the other side. So
Montez Sweat, I believe.
yes, it is Montez Sweat, and those two coming off the edge for against a team who does not run the ball much should be I think it'll be closer than everybody expected. Everybody's expecting it.
Shit. Okay, I was not ready for you to go there. I thought you were taking the Broncos blowout for sure. I'm shocked.
You know, I went more of an analytical than pure gut, but I think I told you right before the pod. Most of these matched up. There were some of them that didn't really match up, and I kind of wanted to go with the gut, but I'm just gonna keep it the same because I feel like if we went the gut, we'd probably have the same gut feeling on a lot of these. All right, next one we have Raiders at Browns. Talk to me, boss man.
I've got the Raiders on the road favored by 6 points in this one. And I feel like it'll probably be a bigger blowout than this, but I just kept thinking back to like you have a very explosive offense and you have a lot of guys that win one on one matchups, right? Quentin
Mhm.
Johnston, JSN, Mark Andrews. I think there's maybe two or three teams in the league that has like the defensive firepower to stay with your guys in man to man. And I
Mhm.
think the Browns are one of them. So he might give you some problems. I mean, I'm not worried about the Raiders winning this game, but it's on the road. Anything can happen.
Absolutely. I don't disagree. Um, well, I guess I do disagree, but I don't disagree with your points. They're not out of line or anything. But again, I went with the analytics, right? Raiders are the second best offense in the league at 39 points per game. The Browns are tied for the second worst offense in the playoff teams out of all the playoff teams with 25 points per game. That's a big difference between the two teams. So with a home field advantage, they get a little boost, and they are 11 and a half point dogs, according to my calculations, against the Raiders. I don't. Is that too much? It could be.
Oh, no, I don't think it's too much. I feel like 6 is light and 11.5 is much more realistic to what's going to happen, like being like a 35-24 game or 41-31 type of game. Um,
The
but
only thing that this Raiders team, have been good all year is scoring points.
yeah, of
Only
course.
times they've really lost games is when they couldn't outscore the other team. We've never really been contained. Uh, Only time we have is one loss against the Broncos. That's the only time we've scored how many? 16 points. All the other one, you know, the
I
second.
said 35 points. It's not like I said you were going to score 17.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just saying that I think I think the strength of the Raiders is clearly the offense, but the defense is, I believe, third, maybe fourth up there in interceptions. So they're very opportunistic, even though they're not really good, play after play. But they turn the ball over. So against the team that turns the ball over a lot, I think they'll have a lot of success. So that's the line, um, almost almost double of yours, which is interesting.
Well, if Castro's listening here, what I'll tell you is there's definitely a blueprint for how you beat this Raiders team if you are the Browns, right? And it's you're at home, you probably get the ball first,
Hmm.
and it's just a heavy, heavy dose of Nick Chubb. Just a lot of running, a lot of using that clock, keeping Josh Allen off the field. Don't let him get in rhythm. That's how you can make something happen here in this game. And you know that it's not like I'm not letting
No,
any
no,
cat out of the
absolutely.
bag. Like
Yeah, I mean,
that's what his goal's got to be.
yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, next one we
Final one.
Yeah, this is the last one. The Texans and the Dolphins. Talk to me. What are you feeling here? This is an I think this is the good one that's really gonna surprise you.
Shit. I mean, if you're going with the stats, I have an idea of where you're going to end up going with this one. But I'm a big narrative guy. I love the narratives. I love to trust users that I can rely on that have the pedigree. So I have the Texans favored by 1.5 points in this game.
All right. All right, talk to me. Talk to me.
I mean, I kind of laid it out there. Like it's just Alex's season was on the line against against the Titans last week, and he won 41-7. Like I think it's still in him to have these great performances, and he's a great Madden player. These teams have played in the playoffs before, also, and I'm pretty sure Alex won that game. So I just wanted to go with Alex. I'm riding my dog on this one.
Okay. Wow, this is crazy because we're so opposite on this. Now let me ask you something. Do you think who's playing a quarterback for the playoffs?
Stetson Bennett, it's got to be.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you already kind of guessed it. Data says totally opposite, right? Dolphins were a 13-win team. Held on to the number one seed for a while till they lost their last game against the Patriots in Week 18, or I guess one before that when they lost against who they lost against.
Commanders.
Commanders. Yeah, that's right. The big upset I was talking about earlier. Um, but the Texans are also tied second worst offense in the playoffs with Browns just behind the Packers at 25, while Dolphins are the third best offense. Yep, third behind Lions, Raiders, Broncos, the fourth best offense in the league at 35 points a game. That's a big old what you call it difference between the two offensive teams. Now, like you said, if I were going by my gut specifically, I would probably this line for me would be a lot closer than it is right now. But the numbers, people, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. I have Dolphins 12.5 point favorites in this game.
Oh my God, Alex! I hope you're hearing this, bro.
I hope you are too.
Jeez,
Not a,
that's
not
two
a,
times.
it is two times.
And picking a Swede to win a playoff game, that's like rocking with James Harden to win a playoff series. That's not smart,
Hey,
bro.
James Harden's been in a conference finals
Yeah, he has. But
and
he has
semi-conference.
as a rep of being a playoff choker a little bit. And I think that if the Swedes strike out this playoffs too, if fucking Broncos blow out the Jets and the Texans beat the Dolphins again, I think the narrative is kind of set that the Swedes drop the ball in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think Sweet. Well, I guess Joke has a lot tougher of a matchup than Christian, but I do think that uh, Christian takes this game. I mean, Christian is kind of what Alex was last Madden, right? Except with just a lot better players. Is how I look at it, right? Kind of game manager. He's not gonna hurry up offense and trying to put up astronomical offensive explosion on you, but he is one of the best offenses in the league when he runs the ball. He uses a lot of read options. He has a quarterback that can just absolutely truck some defenders over. On the other side, Texans had to let barely escape the cap. Had
You're so offensive focused. It's all offense. I feel like if there's one guy that can stop that running offense from the Dolphins, it's Alex. Alex is hard to run the ball on.
it is traditional running ball. I do think that just because the Christian has a little more uniqueness to it and different ways he attacks the running the ball, I think that gives Texans some trouble. Now again, I don't think the line. I think the line is my line that I picked is a little overblown. Again, I would have probably picked it differently if I went directly with my gut, but I chose the pattern here, and I'm going with the pattern. So 12 and a half. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes down this week, and who's gonna be more on the right side. But I would again. You think I'm gonna be surprised if Alex just comes out and covers and wins? Of course not.
No.
But I also would not be surprised if Dolphins just win very comfortably.
Who do you have? So that's all the games. You have it all written down.
Yes, I have all the scores jotted down, so we can come back to it later.
Sweet. Who do you? If you had to put your name next to an NFC team right now, because I feel like it's hard to pick in our conference. Alex already put in the chat -12.5.
Yep.
Awesome. Who, if you had to put your name next to one NFC team to come out of the NFC and make the Super Bowl, who would you pick?
The Lions. It's hard to pick it.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Lions were in a conference championship last year against the Falcons. Played very close to against the Super Bowl champions. Am I correct?
I know. You're 100% correct. He had that game. He was up like 21-7 at halftime.
Yep. And he came down to the last drive, I believe. I think
Yeah.
he won in on the last drive. So, yeah, I think the Lions is a clear answer here. Who's yours?
I think if I had to go with a different option than that, I don't want to just pick the Lions and be lame.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, the first year magic that I've benefited from. I won a Super Bowl my first Madden season. I think Chasey J just, puts the blinders up, logs on, plays his game, doesn't worry about all the pressure, and makes the Super Bowl run. So I'm going with the Cardinals. The small sample size I've seen from Chasey J is quite good. It's quite good.
Is
He
it
can
is
play.
it as good as you think it is?
I haven't seen every game. I haven't seen every snap of his, but when I do tune in, it has looked good.
All right, he's lost 3 out of the last 5 games to end the season, and only wins he has are against the Seahawks and the Cowboys. He's lost to the Colts, Falcons, and the Rams, all user games. And then before that, he did beat the Panthers, but before that, he beat Titans, Saints, and 49ers. So not crazy skins on his walls. Not
No.
crazy. Now all these wins are comfortable wins. They're not like close, squeak by or anything like that. So I'm not gonna dock him too much for beating bad teams by a lot. But loss against Falcons, Colts, and the Rams in the last 5 games. And we talk about their rosters stacked. It's not like he's working with because usually when we have a newcomer, they get hand me down roster, and a lot of them are not as happy. See the Giants, see the Ravens, so on and so on. But yeah, loss against Colts.
That's the best opportunity to step into for sure.
Yeah. And then, but again, I do have them as a favorite just because they're a home team. And they are a little bit of a wild card. You had a great analogy with the rookie pitcher.
What about AFC? I'm probably going to win the AFC. I think I'm going to win the Super Bowl this season. So
No,
we should both pick the Patriots.
I wouldn't pick the Patriots. You have the third worst offense in
You fucking call yourself an analytics guy. All you do is offensive points per game, and you hold on to that
your
stat like it's everything.
much, but your defense is not the best. So you stumbled up on a number 1 seed. Deservedly so. You won a lot of
Stumbled
games.
up on
Beat
it.
the Broncos in a crazy comeback.
Yeah, I gotta watch that game. Get myself pumped up for the playoffs.
Yeah, kudos. You dominated a lot, but then you dropped the game against the Dolphins, a bad one. You made it up for it and win in the next game. I mean, all your games are just so close.
Yeah, we're battle tested. We're ready to go. We're ready for the playoffs. We haven't just been blowing everybody out like the Raiders.
Lost by 10, and then blew out the Bills, but beat the Saints by 5 points.
Saints are a great team. Everybody
Beat
said
the Broncos by 7. That was a crazy comeback we just mentioned. Beat the Buccaneers by 6 points.
Okay, dude. Asian Will Shipley is on another level.
Beat the Panthers by 6. Then blew out the Texans, blew out the Browns, blew out the Ravens. Beat the Bengals by 4.
Yeah, Scott. It's risky.
You beat the Bills by 8. beat the Jets by a lot, beat the Falcons by a lot, beat the Steelers by 3, and then beat the Cowboys by 6, and then you had a really good win against the Dolphins. Looked like it was going to be at least 2 score games. So a lot of close games. It's just I do think this is a very, very, very formidable defense. I just think you're not playing the Buccaneers in the playoff. You're not playing,
No, it's true.
playing Bengals in the playoffs. Unfortunately, you're playing a lot of good teams. So, and when we get to the playoffs, I think you mentioned earlier, Arcade said CPU gets a little boost. I feel like that's all of us too. All the players are coming in, on the morale boost. All your 94, 95 guys are boosted to 99. So it's a crazy matchup, and your pass rushers are so good, so good. But I wouldn't pick you to come out of AFC.
All right, cool. I love getting a little Pats talk on the pod. I feel like we never really talk Patriots. We always just
Yeah,
brush over them, so I appreciate it.
yeah.
Humoring me there.
All right. I would probably take the. I'm not gonna take the Raiders. So I'd probably say the Broncos are the favorites to come out the AFC.
Okay. All right. Well, the AFC playoffs goes through New England, so we will see.
And it does go through New England, which is great, by the way. But let's see if all the favorites win, and your favorite, you had Texans favorite, and I had the Dolphins favorite. So if my favorites would win, the next round matchup would look like Patriots versus Dolphins. No, Patriots versus the Raiders, and
No,
then
you're
Broncos
5. You're
versus
5.
Dolphins.
No,
Oh
you're
yeah, that's right. I moved up to 5. So you would be Patriots versus Dolphins and Broncos versus. Damn, so AFC East versus AFC West. That would be a cool divisional round, and then winner, two of those winners go to next one, obviously. But
no, but what's going to happen? It's going to be me versus you, and it's going to be Alex versus RK in round 2. That's what it's going to be.
I'd love that too. That sounds awesome.
Okay.
That would
You
be
would love that.
old NFC teams.
I know. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. But I do think it's gonna be Dolphins, Pats, Broncos, Raiders in a divisional round on the NFC side. And
Based on your picks, yeah.
Arcade's game's all fucked up, so this is as good of a chance as I've had as to catch him off guard.
I know, yeah. Hopefully you can figure that out.
Yeah.
He's playing in a couple hours. Damn. All right, we're not getting advanced tonight. It's tough. But we do have our first game scheduled. Lions Commanders tomorrow, 11 a.m. Mountain.
So what is that, like
1
1
a.m.
p.m.?
Eastern. 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. I'll be watching.
I'll probably be watching from the office.
Office. I'll have that shit on big TV.
Shit. I'm
Yeah.
jealous.
Yeah. I'm kind of rooting for Dallin here.
You just put so much into the Lions. Like, you have them winning by a lot. You have them coming out of the NFC, and then you're just going to root for
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I just feel for the underdog.
Yeah,
Watch
respect.
for the underdogs. I'm rooting for the Browns. I hope they pull it off.
Be careful, dude. Don't put that out into the air. Madden will hear you, and they'll make you pay for that.
Didn't Browns upset? Who did they upset? Oh, the Jets last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Could happen to anybody, even you, bro.
even me. Absolutely. I would not be. I would not be. Nah, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of people that would pick the Browns against Raiders.
Yeah, but it's the playoffs. Can't sleep on anybody. You got to take every game super seriously because anything can happen. All right, bro.
All right. I think that wraps it up for today, huh? Short pod.
You know, we were just in the booth on Friday for like hours and hours and
Yeah,
hours.
yeah. You guys got a
Quick
long pod
turnaround.
last time. This one's gonna be a little shorter one. You got a problem with it, take it out with the chief of police. I don't care. Just kidding. I care, guys. Commenters. A lot of people are at work still. We didn't have a lot of 10 p.m. workers. Not a lot of chat. Not a lot of buzz in the chat today, but it's all right. Let's get these games.
Well, we said it was going to be about the playoffs, and everybody that's not in the playoffs was probably like, skip.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think the most listeners we usually have is the season preview pods and like the draft pods. Those are like
Cool.
uh, the more popular ones. But all right, man. I think so. That wraps up for today. We have our lines set. We pretty much picked our winners and losers
Can
too.
you send those out? Put
Uh,
them in the chat.
yes, I can set it out. Let me organize it in a little more appealing way, and I'll send it out as soon as I do
Oh,
that.
you're the man. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, I think that wraps it up, and we'll catch you the next time. Hopefully, review of the round one of the playoffs and preview division.
Previewing our matchup in
Yeah.
the next round,
All
maybe. All right, later, brother.
right.